Well, I never thought I'd say this at the beginning of a video. Welcome to Iceland. Steph and I have dropped off in Iceland for a couple days. Icelandic Air has a direct flight from Raleigh to Reykjavik, and so we took that flight, and then you could stay there a couple days. We're actually heading to the Netherlands, and there'll be video content from the Netherlands, I suspect, after this. We're hanging out with some friends there, which we've been looking forward to for a while. But we're just looking at, we're in a garden, a very large pond here in the kind of city center. Actually, the town hall's actually in the pond, down at the end of the pond there. This is such an interesting place because, you know, I don't think I knew coming into this visit that, you know, I just assumed cold. But this is actually USDA equivalent zone 7B. It actually doesn't get, the lows are not anywhere near as cold as you would think the lows are. But with that said, the days are, you know, in January are 4 to 6 hours, you know, of daylight. And then they get tremendous winds through here during the winter time. So whereas the temperatures, the low temperatures, average temperatures are the equivalent of zone 7B, that lack of daylight, that increased wind, contribute to plants that are more like zone 2 or 3 hardy, maybe 4. It's unbelievable how, you know, a place that's, again, it's much more mild than you think it would be overall. It's just very short days. Few interesting plants that are here. We have, this is Viburnum lantana, and we have a variegated version of this in our garden at the house. This is a native to Europe, more Southern Europe, Western and Southern Europe, and been introduced into Northern Europe. So an introduction into northern areas, and this is about as far north in Europe as you're going to go. This one will get these white clusters of flowers in the early summer typically, and then red drupes that eventually turn black, and they're quite decorative. I don't know if this thing blooms or not. It appears that these are like dieback perennials here. I mean, unless they came and cut this after it bloomed or something, I'm thinking it's maybe dying back pretty hard to the ground. Maybe the wind is doing, you know, having some impact on it. Just to let you know how bad the wind is here, we were talking to someone yesterday that said you have to have special insurance for doors, you know, and you have to have wind insurance as an addition to your car insurance, because people open their car doors and it, you know, bends them back forward. Viburnum lantana, one that we have in our garden. Again, this is like zone 7 max, and we're in zone 8 in Raleigh. It's not going to be thrilled to be there, but we do have a Wayfarer viburnum. That's the common name for it. I was sitting here trying to think of it when we started the video. Over here, there are there's a mock orange that's in bloom. We can grow lots of different mock oranges in our area in Raleigh, more in the north than you'll typically see in Raleigh, but that one seems to be quite happy here. Again, all these shrubs tend to be a little short in here. Things that would get quite large. That Viburnum lantana, you know, I've seen basically as small trees, you know, quite big, but every one of them I've seen here, we've seen quite a few now, are like that tall, so probably that winter wind is having some impact. Geraniums do quite well here. There's one of our North American natives, Physocarpus, or 9-bark. This is a gold version of it, but they have the black 9-barks, the gold 9-barks, the regular green 9-barks. This is pretty highly amended garden over here, and everything looks pretty crisp. The other ones that I've seen around the city as we've been walking around have some foliar issues. I'm wondering if it's related to the soil pH or some sort of nutrient-based issue, but they look a little bit rough. But the ones down here in this garden that are mulched and, again, kind of refined planting beds look super fresh. This is a willow leaf spirea. They're all in on spirea. We'll see a couple more before we wrap this up, but there's a ton of different spirea and spirea species up here. This one's really neat though, how it holds those flowers out. You know, we think about sometimes spireas will have just a flat flowers like this. They have several that are more like this, a little more pronounced on the plant, but you can see it's all the way this is August, what is this? August 6th or 7th or something as we're filming this, and they're just coming into bloom really. Or any spirea we would have in Raleigh would be bloomed out by now. This particular container we've seen repeated all over the city. These very large bowls like this with the nasturtiums, and these are loving these cool summer temperatures. I haven't mentioned it's raining right now and it's 53 degrees, and the entire 10-day forecast, looking at it on my phone, is the same, 53 degrees in August 10th. Snapdragons, this pink snapdragon, whoever combined this with this purple kale, it's just a perfect, absolutely perfect combo. And we'll see a lot of pansies, violas, Johnny jump ups. These are little purple violas down here. They look great with the yellow nasturtiums, but that is a container we've seen repeated. I'd probably change them out. There are no leafy evergreens, hardly any leafy evergreens. We've seen one rhododendron in a container, but again, we're in zone 7B, and in 7B in North Carolina, you know, or Virginia, you know, you would see leafy evergreens all over the place. And here, just again, those short days and that wind just desiccates them during the winter time. But there's a lot of color. They have to go, you know, you're going to go all in on color if you're if you have an extremely compact season like this. These little English daisies are all over the place. Just tons of those. And again, in combination with these purple violas next to it. Then the calendula is just all over the place. I'm guessing they probably do these from seed and then just plant them in any city area. It's a nice combo. That of course, there are roses here. You know, roses are unique that way, where here's a nice one right here. Still, you know, roses are so unique, and that there are roses from probably zone 2 to zone 10. They're adaptable for so many people, so many gardens around the world. They do come with their set of issues, but here's that spirea in pink, this willow leaf spirea. And then one of the more interesting, really interesting plants that we see all over the place is this Lysimachia, that right here, this there are like 4 species of this Lysimachia that are all super similar. So I actually don't know which one this one is. It could be verticillata, it could be punctata, there's a couple others too. This is one of those, and I think that there's some crossing going on between this, but this one's used all over the city, and man, it is a giant pop of color. This Sorbaria, or false spirea, is another one we see all over the city. You can see how similar these flowers are to that spirea that we've already taken a look at. This is another one we'll see in the northern United States in gardens. You know, that's pretty common the further north you go. And then again, here's a Japanese spirea, which is, they're all in on spirea. That must just absolutely it just has no problem. Well, we're done with our spirea bloomed a long time ago in Raleigh, and the foliage is spotted and, you know, doesn't look particularly crisp at this point. But I grew so many of these, you know, over the years, and then you know, but we couldn't sell them as well. We had so many leafy evergreens in the Raleigh area that I'd take all these interesting spireas to the farmer's market, and, you know, they wouldn't sell them except when they were in peak bloom. Little Princess spirea, which I don't think we're going to run into in this park, is all over the place. It's a little low doming one. Still a great plant, probably super underused in gardens overall. But again, I grew them like crazy. Just couldn't sell them because again, once you do introduce leafy evergreens, then everybody wants the plants to look the same 12. If you can have the plants look the same 12 months out of the year, people do that. You can see the rain on the leaves on this snowberry. We saw these snowberries when we were up in, went around Canada last year. This was a plant that showed up in a video. We saw some of these yesterday, and we're filming. Of course, it's raining, so the bees aren't out right now. But they have this bee that has a white butt that I had never seen before, and I took a few photos of it. But they were going crazy on these, pollinating these. These will develop a white berry later in the season. I don't know if they have time here. I have no idea if they fully. When we were up in, that was August in Canada, right? And they were fully buried up at that point in Canada, and this is August in Iceland, and their flowers are just coming out on them. So I don't even know if they probably don't have time to finish, but the plants look great. I mean, it's a really nice looking plant. Definitely a reason that it's used as an ornamental plant here, and the pollinators love it. And a plane went directly over our heads there. So many spireas here. There's a little fine textured one here with the red stems on it, a few little white flowers on it, but that one really doesn't need to flower because the texture and the stem color is so unique on it. Was that Niponica or something? Is that species, I think? Yeah. And then again, there's the Japanese spirea next to it. They have a dogwood that is similar to our red twig dogwood, but it's a European native. Same basic results though. It's beautiful leaves, beautiful stems on it, and looks great breaking up this garden. There's gold mound spirea down below, which is a pretty common one we would see in gardens across our area and in North America. Again, our native to North America 9-bark, and there's the red 9-bark, a gold foliage 9-bark, and they're all over the city. There's a black lace elderberry back there, which I think is actually native to Europe, and then it's been introduced into into North America. But just a really great combination of plants in this garden space. They got to go all in on color, and you see most of these, again, everything is a little low. Some of the trees, they've got all kinds of staking, for trees to get trees to grow, for a while before they unstake them. But most of the shrubs and perennials are fairly diminutive. They got a short season, but while it's going on, these gardens are all beautiful. A lot of heuchera here, and what I'll notice when you go to Europe is that when there are perennial borders and grass borders, a lot of those perennials and grasses are North American natives. I mean, our North American prairies are, offer up a lot of materials to create, to create these types of spaces. There's some astilbe back here, some sanguisorba. Again, really short season, and we're out here in the morning where it's been raining for 24 hours. It's flattened down some of these grasses and other things out here, but they got a very short season to work with, and they do a pretty good job with it. And I love the containers all over town. They've planted ladies' mantle virtually all the way around this pond. So there's yellow flowers virtually all the way around the big pond that's out there. They've planted a lot of trees. I think that some percentage of the forest that disappeared from the time that people got here in Iceland to now. There's not a lot of forest that are actually left. When people got here, they had to stay warm before they figured out how to create heat from the fact that they're sitting on top of a volcano. You know, if you get hot water here, hot, you know, the heat and everything with the volcano now. But back then they burned it, and they burned a lot of the forest, and so there's not a lot of forest space here. But they are, you know, tree plantings all over the place to kind of rectify some of that. But you see new trees planted everywhere, and then again, you know, interesting perennial borders. I guess if you're going to have a short season and you're going to you know, have times where you can't even go outside because of wind in the winter time, while you get the opportunity, you go all in on it. They have several different species of Ligularia that we've seen. This one is just about bloomed out. Some of the others are just coming in to flower. Farfugium was in Ligularia. it got divided out. They are not cold tolerant. Like what's left, it makes sense that they got, you know, sometimes there's a lot of putting plants in a new genus, or combining plants, combining two genera together. But that one feels like it was right, because the ligularias definitely are for the cold areas, and the farfugium definitely for the warm areas. There are a lot of mugo pines around the city. There's not a tremendous amount of conifers, although there's some in the background here, but there's mugo pines all over the place, and they basically end up sculpted by the winter wind like this, and they have a lot of character to them. There are a lot of them in containers around the city as well. So we're just here for a very short period of time. Thought we'd show you a few things in this, walking around this one little pond garden here. But the whole city does a pretty good job. And again, it's a very short window to do this, and it's really kind of fun to come and see the overlapping things. You'll see, pansies and petunias planted together. Something in Raleigh where we would plant pansies in the winter and the petunias in the summer. Here, short window, all of it at the same exact time, blooming at the same time. But there you go. There's a gardening in Iceland, from what we can tell from it. I mean, we're not here long enough to be experts on Iceland garden by any stretch of the imagination, but we recognize a lot of the plants that are here, and they're plants that we'll see as we travel north and in the U.S. A lot of overlapping things there, and some of our great North American natives have made it over there. We always talk about invasives on our side of the pond. Well, our stuff's invasive in places too, or plays nice in those places, but they're used all over the world. Thanks for watching.